Cam Akers gone. Where does FSU turn in 2020? Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, with big game James Coleman. Join him on a fifth quarter college football. And Jason Parker, of course, who joins us each week on our Florida State Seminoles live show. You can catch him as well right there. Cam Akers. So for those folks that don't watch Florida State on a regular basis, just watch the national scene in the ACC. Cam Akers disappeared in 2018, and then he reminded us last year, as I watched all the games, mostly in condensed fashion, why he was a five-star, why he broke onto the scene. I think he really took it upon himself to show himself out for NFL scouts and played with a chip on his shoulder last year, and that was impressive. So your quick take on Cam Akers moving on to the next level before we break down this running back roster for 2020.
There was part of me that was hoping when certain other players decided they were going to come back for their senior seasons in 2020 that Cam Akers would all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm going to come back for one last run. But ultimately, you hit the nail on the head, Mark. With what he did in 2019, especially bouncing back after, and I was one of the people who was throwing him under the bus for 2018 for his pathetic 2018, and he comes out in 2019 and runs like a stud. And let's give him credit. This is the time where he needs to move on to that next level. The big problem you have now at running back for Florida State is who is going to take the mantle. And this is, by taking the mantle, you have in the 2011, 2012, 2013 season, you had names like Devontae Freeman. You had James Wilder Jr. You had Carlos Williams moving over from the secondary over to the running back position. They leave. A certain guy comes in from South Florida. What was his name? Oh, yeah, Dalvin Cook, who's currently one of the better running backs in the NFL right now. So the running back position has been solid. So the question is, who is going to take that mantle next? Is it going to be a guy like Kalen LeBourne, who suffered that devastating injury in the 2018 season and then, comes back in 2019? Is he ready to take the leadership role? There was the big news in the offseason was Jay Sean Corbin, who transferred from Texas A&M. He's a native of the state of Florida from the Rockledge area. The question is going to be if he can get approval to come in, does he take the mantle? So this is going to be the question. Or is it going to be a running back by committee? You saw a guy, Deontay Sheffield, who dominated in the bowl game in the Sun Bowl. We're talking about a 6-yard pop guy who's coming out of nowhere, theoretically. So that's going to be the question is, what is the running game going to be under Kenny Dillingham? Is it going to be running back by committee, or will somebody take the mantle and take the keys and be the next great running back?
James, this was one of the thinnest positions in college football last year. They got themselves in a position where they just had no depth, no quality, anything behind Cam Akers.
Yeah, and that was just, again, the position was just under-recruited. They made a big focus this year, even under tag. And they had two 4-stars committed, but one of them's there now, which I don't think he'll see the field. But you got guys like Anthony Grant, that was in that first class. That's actually pretty good. He has a very powerful running style, very explosive, kind of what Josh Corbin is. But obviously, I think Josh Corbin is also coming off of a knee injury. So you got two backs that are trying to recover and come back off of knee injuries, which means that position is wide open. The thing that I like about what Coach Norvell and those guys did at Memphis again was they took a guy who was a low 3-star. Not very many people were recruiting him, but was explosive and was able to utilize his speed and be able to get him in positions with space where you can stretch it. That's really what you have to be able to do. So when you look at guys like Corey Wren, who are coming here, I can't think of the JUCO running back that we have coming in. That's really where I see the opportunity for a new face. And that's not something that Florida State fans are not used to. Obviously, Devontae Freeman played very early when he came in. He handed the ball off essentially to Dalvin Cook, who played as a true freshman, who essentially handed the ball off to Cam Akers, who played as a true freshman. So to think that a true freshman wouldn't be able to come in and dominate is probably a little bit off not realistic for FSU fans. We've seen this happen. It's probably the easiest position to get on the field because, as my position coach Billy Sexton used to always say, you run where they ain't. You either have the vision or you don't. I have to teach you how to pass pro and how to run routes out of the backfield. So speed and vision are going to be the biggest things that are going to be looked at with this FSU offense. And the guys that they have recruited always have it. And then you have a guy like Lawrence Toafali, who is more like a James Wilder Jr. type of back, a bigger back, more straight up and down, is a guy that if I can wear you down at any given point, I can unleash him on you in the third quarter, and now you got to hit that. You got to hit that bigger back, and that's not good for you. Also, a guy who I want to talk about, who I believe will be involved in the running game, but probably more as a tight end fullback, because I think they're going to bring the fullback back, but it's really more of a H-back, a guy you can hop off the line that you can put down as a tight end as well. But look for Wyatt Rector. Wyatt Rector came in as a running back, as a quarterback. But if you look at 19 in these tour duty drills, how fluid, how athletic, how explosive he is, if you could get him in some trick plays, like that's a weapon that we haven't seen FSU utilize since like Alani Pryor, who was again a running back that was fast, that you just put a little bit more weight on and you converted him into a fullback.
James, since you're the only one of the three of us who's actually played running back at the college level, I'm going to ask you this question. We've talked about this previously on previous shows with Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Deontay Sheffield, what he did in the Sun Bowl, and I think Kalen LeBourne is going to be the starting running back entering spring football. What do you see from Deontay Sheffield? What does he need to do to, after having a great job in the Sun Bowl, what does he need to do to possibly take that job?
I mean, if I'm him, I'm doing less talking on Twitter and being less of a friend and going out there and winning the damn job. Like, that's no knock on him. It's just, as a walk-on, you have to like make them overstand that you're good. So of course they're going to always, even if you are a scholarship player, they're going to always recruit your replacement. But what he has to do is, in this spring, you're the last running back that we've seen, the last good running back film they saw. So during tour duty drills, you got to be number one in every aspect of it. When the spring comes, when they give you a carry, you have to show them that you have the ability to take it to the house with every time you touch the ball. The problem is that they've recruited their guys in here. So a Corey Wren, Gibbs, I believe is the kid's name, that's from the JUCO. They're going to get their looks. Layman was a high 4-star, 5-star in some composites. He's going to get his opportunity. Corbin probably still rehabbing, will probably get some chance to do some stuff in the walkthroughs, but you got to make them believe it. And again, the only way you can do it, every time you touch the ball, you got to be a threat.